Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today we're diving into one of the most dramatic and politically tense moments in recent South African history, the arrest of former President Jacob Zuma in July 2021. But what you might not know is just how close South Africa came to total chaos during those critical hours, and how one man, former Police Minister Bheki Cele, found himself caught in the middle, with the law on one side, a nation on edge on the other, and his own health in jeopardy. In a rare public disclosure, Bheki Cele has opened up about what really happened in those final moments before Zuma was arrested and how the police, the courts, and the political leadership all scrambled to avoid what could have been a full-blown national crisis. Cele revealed that, at the time, he was battling COVID-19. He was sick, vulnerable, and possibly contagious, but that didn't matter. The Constitutional Court had issued a clear order: Zuma must be arrested and begin serving his 15-month sentence for contempt of court. And as the Minister of Police, the responsibility of executing that order fell directly on Cele's shoulders. "If I didn't arrest the former president, I was going to jail," Cele bluntly stated during a recent public event. The court gave a deadline, and it was clear that someone had to act. Now, to truly understand the gravity of that moment, let's rewind a bit. In June 2021, the Constitutional Court found Jacob Zuma guilty of contempt after he repeatedly refused to appear before the Zondo Commission into state capture. This was unprecedented, a former head of state defying the highest court in the land, and now facing a jail term. The court set a deadline: Zuma had to hand himself over by midnight on July 7, 2021. But the days leading up to that deadline were nothing short of electric. Tensions were high, especially in Zuma's stronghold of Nkandla, where hundreds of supporters had gathered outside his homestead. They came with one mission: to physically block any attempt to arrest their beloved leader. Some carried traditional weapons. Some made it clear they were willing to fight. Behind the scenes, negotiations were happening at the highest levels of government and security. Cele, despite being ill, was part of those delicate talks. He says the situation was volatile and incredibly sensitive. Any wrong move could ignite widespread violence. "It was not an easy time," Cele explained. "We had to handle the matter carefully to protect the country from chaos. And chaos did come, just not right away." With only minutes to go before the midnight deadline, Zuma finally agreed to surrender. He was quietly escorted from his Nkandla home and taken to the Escart Correctional Center in KwaZulu-Natal. But the calm didn't last. Zuma's arrest was the spark that ignited days of looting, burning, and bloodshed across KwaZulu-Natal and parts of Gauteng. Over 350 people lost their lives. Shopping malls, factories, and warehouses were destroyed. South Africa's economy took a massive hit. And the intelligence services were caught completely off guard. The government was criticized for reacting too slowly, while the police were overwhelmed. Some accused Cele and his colleagues of underestimating the danger. Others blamed poor intelligence coordination. But whatever the reasons, the aftermath of Zuma's arrest showed just how fragile South Africa's social fabric really was. Cele, however, insists that the police fulfilled their duty in a constitutional democracy. It was about upholding the rule of law. "No one is above the law," he said. And to be fair, it wasn't an easy choice, enforcing a court order against a former president, with a massive support base, during a pandemic, while personally suffering from COVID-19. It's worth remembering just how unique this situation was. Around the world, it's rare for former presidents to be imprisoned. And in South Africa, a country still haunted by the ghosts of apartheid, state capture, and unresolved inequality, the symbolism of jailing a liberation hero like Zuma was enormous. For some, it was a victory for justice and democracy. For others, it was an insult, a betrayal, and a rallying cry. Zuma's supporters argued that the charges were politically motivated. They saw his imprisonment not as the enforcement of justice, but as a coordinated campaign to silence him. That belief, whether true or not, fed into the flames of distrust and anger, especially in KwaZulu-Natal, where historical loyalty to Zuma runs deep. And even after his imprisonment, the story didn't end. Zuma was controversially released on medical parole just months into his sentence. That decision was later declared unlawful by the courts. Yet Zuma has still managed to avoid returning to prison, continuing to stir public debate and political divisions to this day. Cele's comments are important not just because of the details they reveal, but because they speak to the larger struggle South Africa faces: how do we enforce accountability, protect the integrity of our courts, and maintain peace in a society still so divided by history, class, and race? Cele's reflection is also a reminder of the human cost of leadership. Here was a man sick with a potentially deadly virus, being told that unless he acted, he himself could face jail. It's a chilling example of how heavy the burden of law enforcement can be, especially when politics and justice collide. Whether you love or loathe Bheki Cele, his account adds a new layer to our understanding of that critical week in July 2021. It's a behind-the-scenes glimpse into how close South Africa came to an even greater crisis, and how fragile peace really is when trust in institutions is eroded. Let us know in the comments, do you think Cele and the police did the right thing by arresting Zuma when they did? Or should the government have handled the situation differently? And do you believe justice was truly served? If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more political commentary, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.